Yo, what's happening, people? Welcome to the Vegeta and Banks Show. We are back very soon after last night's. I don't even know what to call that game from yesterday. But shout out to my co-host Timber Banks. Yesterday was my turn to be screaming at the screen and to lose my head. I think the wine made it worse, to be honest, because I was just yeah. But how you doing, Timber, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm fine. I'm fine, bro. It was a good game, man. It was a good game. Honestly, it had everything. It had everything, man. And honestly, man, those kind of games. But I don't think you are going to experience such a moment again. Honestly, I don't think we would ever see such a thing, such a comeback. I don't think we'll ever see it. But I wouldn't say the wine made it. I think I could say the wine actually made you calm, man. You know, because maybe if not for that one, maybe you would have actually just let the stream. Maybe the extra time you would have watched it. But big up to the guys when they tried and they came back. It was whatever call it whatever I want to say about it, man. It's not it was something that's not really easy to do, but they were able to get it done. So kudos to the guys, man. But we'll talk about it, man. So let
I've
us
got
see. Yeah.
feelings about that game. Actually, let's start with that game. I know there's a lot of topics, but that game is still fresh on my head. I actually went back and watched the stream, our stream. The,
Yeah.
and if you watch the stream, Timber, this was for I think 60 or 70 minutes. I
Yeah.
was calm. At some point, you were even saying, "Huh, you're having fun." You know, Ganacho misses a shot. We don't care. It's okay. Well, not that we
Yeah.
don't care. I was pissed because
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, we don't get to score goals, score a goal. But hey, 2-0,
Yeah.
we are fine. But then I kept saying to you the whole game, I said, Timber, I don't like 2-0, you know?
Yeah, you said it.
2-0 and 1-0, I don't like those scores. It's dodgy. So we needed a third goal. And when Ganacho was in on goal, I thought, okay, third goal, we can call it a night. We move on.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, Leon was not good. I think the best parts of Leon's game yesterday was that Fofana kid that they
My
brought
God.
on.
Bro.
Uh, and that guy that Man United is linked to, what's his name?
Checky
Cherky.
and Lacazette.
I don't care about Lacazette, bro. That bum, bro. Like a what? Like a who? Like a
like
bum, bro.
yeah,
Although I like his celebration with Turkey. That thing of
yeah,
that's
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was cool.
Yeah.
But besides Turkey and Fofana, because yeah, that kid was terrorizing our backline, bro. I felt like we were the better team. And I know people. I've been watching streams today, Timber. People
Yeah.
are happy. People are getting sin binned for being negative. People, you know what? People just said, "Let's be happy for 24 hours," and I said, "Bullshit! I don't want to be happy for 24 hours.
Never.
I know what I saw yesterday, and what I saw was this team tried to get Ruben fired because how are you 2-0 up for 60 minutes and in a quick of like you blink, it's 2-2. And I said, when the first goal went in, I said, Temba, why do these guys look like they're capitulating all of a sudden? Because 2-1, you still winning, bro. Like chill. Like I even said to you, bro, remember when you guys equalized against Arsenal and
Yeah.
Arteta did this.
Yeah. Looking to his
Mind
players.
you, he's like 4-1 up on aggregate, but the man is still doing this to his players. And it's important, bro, because it's like if you don't lock in, it can go either way. And I think
Yeah.
Arteta understood that, bro. We're gonna get to your game. But man was clearly saying, bro, we're in the burnabout. If y'all don't fix up, these guys could come back and then it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
So even with United, bro, for us it's even worse because in the first leg we should have won. So we basically came to this thing on 0-0, basically. So it's
Yeah.
not like we've got the cushion that Arsenal had in their game. You get me? So when I saw 2-1, and then all of a sudden Leon can play football. No, it's not that Leon can play football. It's what Man United were doing the whole season, being our own worst enemy. And first of all, people who are cussing on Anna, bro, shut up, bro. I am not that guy's biggest fan.
Yeah.
I don't rate Onana. But yesterday, Onana was locked in.
Man did his
Onana
job.
was, bro, when we saw the team sheet, in fact, when Ruben said, yeah, Onana is starting, we all were like, ah, come on, Ruben, bro, don't do this. But Onana actually rewarded the manager's faith in him, bro, because what could he have done for those goals, Timber? Let's be honest. He did a double save
Bro,
at some stage.
nothing. Yeah,
Like, bro, he could do nothing. He was actually doing his job as a goalkeeper. It's just that lapses in concentration from the defense led to the goals that Leon scored, which is unusual because our defense is usually the best part of this team.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yesterday, mistakes happened. You saw when Luke Shaw came in, he did nonsense. Dorgu was shooting for fun instead of passing people in front. Ganacho doesn't want to pass to Dorgu. Are they beefing? We need to find out.
I don't
We must
know.
we
No,
must
we
speak.
need to, we have to find out if they are beefing because I don't understand.
He doesn't pass
It's
Dorgu.
becoming too
I don't understand it. Rasmus Hoyland. Some people said he had a better game, but you know what?
better game.
The standards with him is in house. So I guess some people were impressed with the fact that he wasn't wrestling. He was just
I
not
don't
in the
like.
right place.
Oh my God.
So the fact
Like,
that he wasn't wrestling means he had a better game. If that's your standard, the fact that Ogate got a goal, we scored 5 goals yesterday, Timber. I want to remind you,
yeah,
5.
yeah,
None of them are Rasmus Holland goals. None. 5 goals
bro,
for Man United, and none of them
bro.
belong to the striker. So you can't even say chances, right? You can't say we didn't create chances. Uh, Garnacho is a criminal. Whatever defense people wanted to have for him to say, no, let's not sell him. Shut up. I'm tired, bro. Shut up. How do you do all the hard work except put it in the net?
Bro. He
Like I
did
did everything.
everything. He did absolutely everything. And for me, I think if he had scored that, that would have been a proper goal. But yesterday, one thing I'll say is this time, I'm happy that somehow you guys were able to get the result because I already saw people talking about Amory. And I really want us to have that conversation because sometimes, this is the question I want to ask. Are Manchester United fans doing too much? Because in that game against Newcastle, I'm sure you and I can both agree that going into that game, everybody knew Newcastle was going to win that game. It was not
Mhm.
like something whereby we expected that no, we stand a chance. Plus the fact that everybody were in agreement that Ruben Amorim had to also rotate the team because of this game against Lyon. Now I was surprised whereby after the game lost 4-1 and I was seeing people talking about uh,
Uh,
fraud, you fraud, this guy is clueless. Like I was saying to myself, like, I think I don't know, are they doing too much, or some of them are just doing it because they want to just put a content out there?
Temba, like you've heard me criticize my fan base before because I've said that okay, there's two ways of looking at this, right, Temba? There's the fan side of it, and then there's the Man United side of it. That's why I don't want to just say yes. I think yes in terms of the fans because we don't know what we want. And I gave you an example. I said if Garnacho passes the whole day and he doesn't score, people will be mad because why are you
Yeah.
passing, right? But if he's shooting the whole game, I know there has to be a balance. He must try and shoot, right? But essentially, we'll say one thing, and if that thing happens, we don't want it. We said get rid of Ten Hag, this guy. We do that. We said we'll back Ruben no matter what because it's a rebuild. Well, we're rebuilding, and the pain is coming, and people are again not happy, right? So the fans have always been crackheads. We don't know what we want, Timber. That's the simple part of it. But the Man United aspect of it, look at what happened with Dan Ashworth. And I'm using that example to say that these guys, whether we like or hate them, have shown to us that they look at things differently from us. And if they feel like, okay, but Ruben, 10 losses, we understand you don't have what you need now, but that's because the window and also budget and PSR, other things are preventing us from helping you. Just do the right thing to get yourself to the summer so we can justify keeping you. Because these guys already kept Ten Hag, bro. Let's be honest. They kept this
Yeah.
guy well beyond his time. So I don't think they're unreasonable as owners. But at the same time, they are trying to sell the idea that if you're not good enough, we're going to get rid of you and we won't hesitate to do so. So fans are doing too much, in my opinion. because we are fans, Temba. What are we gonna do? I mean, I divorced the club last night, and here I am. I'm
Yeah.
support. I'm supporting again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying,
You don't talk about it already. Because you say, I'm going to
bruh?
talk about and
I
see if you
was
change your
pissed
mind.
off yesterday, bro. I was like, and you, okay, we'll talk about my feelings, but from a fan perspective, your feelings gonna change because you're emotionally tied to the club, bro. At the end of the day, I think, like I said yesterday, fans want one thing, and I think any fan who says they don't want this thing is weird because they're supporting us.
Mm-hmm.
We all want
Yeah.
to win. We all
Mm-hmm.
just differ about how we want to do the winning. You get me?
Yeah.
So we
True.
all want to win, but we differ about how we want to get there. Some people are willing to wait with Ruben and say, guys, we just fired Ten Hag. This guy doesn't have a window. Let's get in players. Let's do the right thing. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
other people are like, Chief, you have to win with the people you have now. We don't care about windows, whatever. If you're a good coach, coach, because this guy's not a manager, he's our coach. That's his job.
Mm-hmm.
I think people and the press also confuses this. They call him manager. He's not our manager. Man United as a manager, that's not Ruben. Ruben is the coach.
Yeah. Head
And
coach.
people are saying if he's such a good coach, because we have to look at the other side of the fact that we always defend some of our players like Yoro, who played good yesterday, Mateus Delict, Mazarawi. Um, we still say Gogati needs time because he's still new. Ahmad. Um, some people even say Mason Mount. So if we're saying they are good players, some people have an expectation that you should still be able to do better than what you're doing with this. So I think it's those ones. But then, like, look at what Brendan is saying. There are people who have unreasonable expectations. Timber, you feel me? The ones who want glory, like today. Whereas most of us, I would like to believe, because social media is not all of us. It's just the loud minority. But I like
Yeah.
to think that most of us, we want to win, but we understand that fundamentally we are crap, and we need to.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a rebuild, Timber, which me and you spoke about when Ruben was hired,
Yeah.
there are certain pains we're gonna have to go through to get to that winning. You get me?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
shortcut. We've tried
True.
the shortcuts of buying your Pogbas or whatever. We've tried the shortcut, but we almost have to cut our legs off to build again properly. And if we all accepted this when Ruben came, why now? I think the only thing people were all in agreement with was he can't get relegated,
Yeah.
if I'm not mistaken. That was the one thing we said, come on, dude. Like, we understand that these guys are bad, but relegation, they're not relegation bad. So had he
Players, yeah.
gotten relegated, then I would say, no, they're not doing too much. But the fact that he's in a semi, you know, and mind you, people forget, we weren't winning with Ten Hag in this tournament. We were just drawing. At some
Bro.
point, we were supposed to play playoff, and then, what's his name? Rude, our
Rude.
legend, helped us kickstart
Yeah.
things. But for the most part, it's been Amorim, bro.
Yeah.
Amorim's been the one getting the wins in Europe, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I would say that yes, the fans are crashing out too quickly, but I think it's the loud minority. I don't think it's a majority of the fans that want this guy out, because a majority of us understand that we don't have money. I think that's the thing now. I think we have to accept it. Ruben, it's unfair. You can't be angry at us for saying Ten Hag out, but you said give him time to complete his 3 years to get his players. It's the same people, Temba and like, who will
Honestly.
say get rid of Ruben, but they were saying in the same breath, yeah, but give Ten Hag time. He doesn't have all his players after 2 seasons. Same people, same WhatsApp group. You
Honestly.
get what I'm saying? I think they just don't
Honestly.
like Ruben. Let's be honest. If you don't like him, you'll say these things from, like you said, if you get Ten Hag, you don't like Ten Hag. Everything Ten Hag does now in Madrid, you wanna scrutinize it.
Man,
Get
I
this
said
guy
to
out.
you, man. I said from the very first day, man. If I hear Perez get Tenag in my club, the very first day, bro, Tenag can even win the La Liga and Champions League. I'll still be saying he's rubbish. Get him out. I don't like the guy. So that's the thing, and I agree with you. Because people go around making it seem as if Amory, because this is one thing people make it seem as if is the one to be blamed. Is the guy you want to blame at where United are currently. I even just somebody said when Ten Hag was sacked and Amory came in, we were 4 points off top
Top
four.
four. Yeah.
And at that point in time, that same person that is saying this thing was also clamoring Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out, Ten Hag out. So if you know that it was just 4 points to top four, why were you acting or kicking, saying that the guy should go out? Because now all of a sudden now you are not saying, man, all of a sudden it's this guy is a fraud. He has no clue what he's doing. And these are the same people that will tell you, if Ten Hag had came into the club and actually stick to his philosophy of football, we will be
Mm,
patient with him because we understand it's his first season and he's trying to get the players to adapt to the system. But this is an Arab man now that have come in because for me, I ask is Ruben to be blamed? In my own opinion, I don't think Ruben should be blamed. The guys you guys should be blaming is Sergeant Ratcliffe and Enos, Omar Barada, John Wickers that came into the club. First of all, you gave the Glazers on 1.3 billion. You gave it to the Glazers, and that went straight to their pocket. And you came into the club, you kept a manager, which you know that he was not your guy. He was not your guy. What you want to do is, yes, he won an FA Cup. Sack him. But no, you guys took 2 weeks to do a review to keep him at the job, then give him extra 300 million pounds to spend on transfers. Then the guy goes on, get his players, then you sack him after 10 games. Because right
yeah.
now, I see Ruben, and not that no mistake they made. They sacked Ten Hag to go and bring a manager who plays a different philosophy of football from this team. Because I can tell you, I would like if you give this United team to Sean Dyche, he will do better. Thomas Frank at Brentford will do better with these players because they fit his system. But when you say that, people will tell you like you're talking rubbish. You're not making sense. Like I will be talking about Sean Dyche, Thomas Frank, and United. But is the reality like these players under this manager they will flourish. But Ruben is a different type of is a system manager whereby for you to flourish in his team you have to know what his system is all about. So I believe people out there are just going at the wrong people. I would actually be going in on the Glazers and the Sergeant Markley because the way they've handled this thing ever since they came into the club just indicates to you that man, these guys more they don't know anything about football. They don't.
Here's the problem, Timber. When we think about this issue, um, we always think about it in the here and now, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of factors that have contributed to where we are now. To act like we were not in decline to begin with, whether it's Eric Ten Hag, Oli, Ralph, we were in decline. And the source of that decline was the strategy that the club had as a whole,
Mm-hmm.
from recruitment to our youngsters. Because even for a long time, it was very hard to embed youngsters into the squad. Maybe one or two of them would make it, but other than that, bro, flops. To be honest, because the pathway between the under what's and first team, it wasn't that great. So the strategy at this club has been broken since we lost Sir Alex, because Sir Alex did so much. And I think we're only appreciating now how much him and the team at that time did for the
Yeah.
club from the top to the bottom. You get me? And
Yeah.
now to get people who are doing some of his job and then to have managers do other parts of his job, it's not an easy thing to replace. But also, that was a model that worked for the time at the time because football moved on now. You've got technical directors, you've got director of football, you've got the head of scout and recruitment. So even though in the past I might have done most of that work to oversee recruitment, to oversee coaching, it's not the same now. Ruben's not a manager. I don't think Oli was a good manager. I think a lot of these guys are good coaches. I
Yeah.
don't think they know what management is. But we
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a structure or a plan in place that would allow people who are coaches to flourish. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because we never had an identity for us post Sir Alex, that that has had a knock-on effect. Because if you think us being broke is a byproduct of now, it's crazy. Like we've been spending for years, like as if the money is not going to end. When we're busy spending 100 millions on Anthony's and Pogba's and all these guys,
Oh.
are going to catch up to us. And then you look around us. In the same time, our competitors have spent, if the same, on one or two players maybe, but for the most part, they spent wisely and they spent correctly, in my opinion. So, like,
Yeah.
for instance, when City knew that Pep was going to be the manager, they spent for Pep and
Yeah.
what he's doing. You get what I'm saying? There was a
Mm-hmm.
plan behind the recruitment of Pep. Sorry, guys, my boy's saying good night. Night.
Okay.
So the issue, yes, that's one part of the issue, right? So it's the strategy, long term stuff. It's catching up to us.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the coaching part of it, because I don't want to call them managers. Our coaches have been too different to each other over the years. We had David Moyes, old school. We had Louis Van Gaal, who was trying to. Would you say like he's a product of Dutch football, basically, right? Like that type of football. Him and Ten Hag are a product of that total type of football that the Dutch people are known for. And then you
Mm-hmm.
had Ollie, sit back, hit on the break, and we were very clinical under Ollie. I think in hindsight, when you
You
look
guys
at
were
all of the
clinical and all. You guys
we
were
clinical,
clinical. You
we had
scored
to
a lot
put
of
it,
goals, man. You scored
and
a
then
lot of goals.
you had Mourinho, who he doesn't believe in holding on to the ball in order to win. Just win, whether it's 1-0 or 6-0. It doesn't matter to Mourinho. We win.
Yeah.
We defend as a
Yeah.
team. We attack as a team. That's
Yeah.
Mourinho, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you had Ralph, who doesn't want to be a manager, but he sees that as a role to get into what he wants to do. He tries to implement gegenpressing. They refuse. And in between that, we have a mishmash of players who don't necessarily complement each other, being brought for these different managers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why for years we had Pogba, but we didn't have like a Casemiro or Ugarte next to Pogba. You get what I'm saying? So now
Yeah.
you've got a good center midfielder in Pogba, and uh, dude, we had Pogba, Bruno in the same midfield at some stage. The missing link was the
My
we
God.
never had a
Yo.
six. So those two, besides Bruno did his job, but those two couldn't maximize. Even Bruno, I feel like if you had a good three, even Bruno's output higher than what it is now, because he's doing the job of other people like Bo Scott McTominay, who are crap in our system. I know he's doing good at Napoli, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying that we had a mishmash of people who didn't complement each other. We had a good goalkeeper with a crap backline, or now in our case, a good backline now with a crap
With the bad
goalkeeper.
goalkeeper.
So there's never been a time where we are building consistently well. We're not replacing well. We're not. There's no continuity in what we're doing, and then we get to Ruben. The way he was hired is even worse because usually we get what you call this, an interim, get to the end of the season, and the whole point of that is so that the new guy gets a preseason, because the preseason allows you to buy people because the window's open, sell
True.
people who you don't think are necessary, but it also allows you to start doing stuff and making mistakes before the league starts. It's not to say that your system will be ready when the season starts, but you can already be like, this Garnacho guy, it's dodgy. I don't
Yeah.
need to use him
Yeah.
with the preseason. And but there's been times where Man United in the past would have a terrible preseason where maybe Fergie's trying something and then we'd win the league because
Okay.
it doesn't really matter. Whereas Ruben's preseason was at in the league where it matters. Essentially, this guy's experiment was in official games, and that's what I'm saying. If you remove all of that context, the history, what happened, how it happened, then it's easy to just scream Ruben out because then you're not thinking about, but why are we here? You get
Yeah.
me? That's
True.
why for me, my expectation, because the bar was already in hell. I know people will say 4 points of fourth or whatever it was, but we were 10th. When is 10th acceptable for United? Did people
13th. When he left, 13th.
was it 13th? That's even worse.
13th.
It's
That
worse.
was when he left, they were 13th. When
Me
Tenak left, they were
personally,
13th.
me personally, I don't care how close we were to top four. We were not in the right position for Man United. And the difference between Ruben and this guy is that the other guy had time and he spent money. It's
True.
it's it's ridiculous for me to have to wait another season before I see your football. It's ridiculous. And for me, by the time we got before we even fired him, Timber, when we got to Liverpool, that game told me everything I needed to know about Eric. Because Liverpool haven't been fantastic this year. Let's not let the season lie to us. And even in the game when they beat us, I think it was 3-0, they beat us at Old Trafford. We gifted them the goals, bro. We did what we did with Liverpool with Lyon. Just that Liverpool's a quality team. You can't concede three and then you think you're gonna come back 5-3. Like last
No
night.
way. No
That's
way.
the only difference. And in Europe, we weren't getting joy. You get what I'm saying?
True.
So and I said we can't be beating teams 7-0 that are in the second division, but we can't beat people in our own division. There was never a game under this guy before he got fired where I'm like, 3 points, Even Southampton, I had to be like, he might lose this. He might win. It's 50-50. And that's not a good feeling. It's not good. So let's not act like Ten Hag was like on a mission. We just reacted. I'll give you a good example, Timber. You support Sanchez.
Yeah.
The guy before this new guy, he wasn't doing too bad if you think about it.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It
He wasn't
wasn't.
doing too bad. This guy is doing worse than the guy they fired him for, technically, if
Yeah.
you think about it. That would have been
Yeah.
inexcusable. You can't fire me for one loss and then the next guy gets 3 losses and it's fine. It's crazy. That's craziness. But the other guy, bruh, we were seeing the same football from last season with a fully fit squad.
Yeah. Same.
So we couldn't even use injuries this season, Tim. You are doing the same
As
thing
an
from last season.
excuse. As an
We're not
excuse.
scoring. We're not scoring goals. We're not creating enough goals. The only thing that was good about that team was we were defending sometimes,
Yeah.
and then now Ruben has to come in. Like I said, this is the scenario now. Tenag is doing nonsense, and then you hire a guy. I get it in flipping November, which is a lot of time, but still, bro. Now this guy's preseason is our games, bro. Like Professor used to say this. Professor Omo, shout out to him, and we used to laugh at him. But I says this is preseason.
Yeah, he
It's
said it.
true.
Yeah. He said it, man.
It's
And he
true
says
though.
he loves the suffering.
Because the
Because
suffering is reality, Temba. It's the reality.
true,
Because let's be
true.
honest, Temba. Let's say Ruben came in and we had a manager bound. What do you think the fan base would look like if we had 10 games unbeaten?
My God. They'll be
Because
screaming,
remember,
the Nag is a fraud. The Nag is a
because
fraud.
remember, Temba, before we weren't blaming Ten Hag necessarily. We were angry at him, but we said the bigger problem is the players. It's just that replacing the manager is easy. So if
True.
Ruben comes in and wins 10 with these same players,
Yo.
does that not paper over the crack of, but these players are still crap though?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because these guys, if Garnacho's so good, why can't he play as an inside 10? He can't. He's not good enough for that position. It's as simple as that.
That's why they
All of
put
a sudden,
second as
Onana
well.
doesn't know how to be a goalkeeper just because it's a back three. No, he's crap. Rasmus Hoyland is not getting enough chances. We scored 5. Where was he yesterday on the score sheet?
Bro, you saw the runs he was making now. You saw the runs he was making. The cut back, he was like, you are another one. Hey, man. Ganacho crossed the ball back. He was ahead of Ganacho. Cut back.
Why
Bugatti
is
was here.
Ogate in the center, Timber? Shout out to Ogate, bro. You did your job. You scored. But why is my center forward not in that position?
Not a good day as well. He's just crazy,
You
man.
see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, Ruben isn't to blame. There's so many factors that if you just say it's Ruben, that's lazy, bro. There are times where I've blamed Ruben. Like I'm like, come on, Ruben, what are you doing? Like when he started changing our team every week, I said, okay, Ruben, I understand you're trying to give everyone a chance, but at some stage, you're going to have to say, this is the starting 11. Everybody else must fight it out for a position. You can't keep chopping and changing. The preseason is finished. How many games you get in preseason? Like 5. Like after game 5, like come on, dog. Like you have to know what you're doing. But besides that, you can't blame Ruben when the defense is looking at the ball like this.
Ah, come on, man. It's
Oh, we have to
crazy.
defend. Oh, yes. Oh,
They
when your
forgot.
striker is not in the right place because he's busy doing suplex with the defense.
Bro,
You
tell
can't
me about
like
it.
Ruben can't divide himself into 11 and play the games. I'm not saying he's perfect. That's the other problem. When you are criticizing the players, they say, "What about the manager?" When you criticize the manager, they say, "What about the players?" Let's focus on what the players did wrong, and then we'll get to what the manager did wrong, or we'll focus on what. My friend, why are you still awake? You said good night.
Those are kids, man. Allow them. They are not holiday men, so let them flourish, man. Allow
Yeah,
them.
but you see what I'm saying? It's not just Ruben. I know some people are like, Ruben coached the draw yesterday. I'm like, how, bro? We were 2-0 up. How did
Today, coach the draw.
That's what some people are saying.
Are you mad? Ruben
Yeah,
coach the draw.
yeah. They said he didn't coach a win.
Like, hey, my God, you get your fan base is a problem. Like, let me just go to what Ben said. Ben said something here. Said, I said the fan base was a problem like 4 years ago. 4 years. Man
Shout
said
out to you,
it
Brendan.
4 years ago.
Then
Like
Brendan is a prophet because he's right. We are a problem.
four
We
years
can't change
ago.
everything and then we stay the same. And I'm not saying low expectations. I also don't agree with that, Temper. I don't agree with people who say, yeah, but this is who we are. So people must stop expecting us to be like the old Man United. No, Chief. Then stop supporting us. Because I'm never going to expect anything less than Premier League. I don't care if we're
Honestly,
13th, 14th, or 15th.
honestly,
I'm Man United.
honestly.
I'm never going to expect not to win the Champions League if I'm in the Champions League. It's ridiculous. That's but just because my expectation is high, it doesn't mean I can't be reasonable and say, okay, but let's get Ruben his players. And if he's still
True.
crap with his players, then I can't help him. He
Yeah.
just like Ten Hag. Ten Hag, I defended him. I said, let's let Ten Hag get his players because there was a lot of criminals in the squad. He got rid of them and he still flopped. That's the problem. He got rid of the criminals and he still flopped.
And that's
So
the
I
thing,
can't help
man.
him. Can't
And
help
when you
him.
talk, people think you are crazy or whatever. Brennan also said fans who allow results to influence their experience are badly glory hunters. Then this is the people that cheer the loudest are also the people who will tear down the players when the results don't suit. The man says that we would have been top four with Ten Hag. I agree. I'm not lying to you, man. Like at some point, I said I believe if Ten Hag was here, I'm not saying you guys will be in top four, but I'll say that I don't think it will be this bad. But I can understand why it's this bad. I can
But
actually understand why it's
But
this
Tema,
bad.
that's why some people said, and these were reasonable fans. I'm talking about the reasonable people. They said, let's not fire Ten Hag now because we're here. Let's get to the end, and then we get a new person, because then you allow the other guy to come in on a clean slate. The problem is fans like me. I'm keeping me accountable now.
Yeah.
I was just tired, but I agree. Maybe it wouldn't have been this bad if he was still here.
I cannot say it rude, but it's right. It will not be this bad. I can tell you that for sure because we saw what Rude did. The little time he came in, people want to say, look at what he's doing at Leicester. I'm sorry, does he have the same quality of players he had at United at Leicester? Because he does not. Which Leicester players will get into this United team?
No, they won't get here. But Temba,
So it's the
you
fact.
know, Temba, this home. Sorry, I know. Man United just makes me so angry. If we actually wanted to defend a manager, in my opinion, it's Oli.
Yeah,
Me personally, because even he said it in the overdrive or whatever that show is called. He said, "Bruh, I couldn't do
overlap.
what I." He said, "I couldn't do what I wanted to do necessarily. There were pieces that were missing, and had I got those, and I believe him, bro, because he's the only guy that managed to get Martial firing and Rashford.
Bro,
These guys were scoring
Rashford.
for fun, bruh, for
They were
fun.
banking goals. Mason Greenwood and all they were banking goals, man, here and there. That's why I said under Oli, you guys were scoring goals. Yes, because he said it that he had to play counter-attacking football. That is not what he wanted to do. And one thing other guy said as well, he said he wanted what's his name? Haaland. When Haaland was still playing for Mode. He said he wanted Haaland. He
Maybe like
mentioned,
5 million.
I think he mentioned Caicedo as well. There are players he wanted, then they did not get him. But when you look at it on the long run right now, those players now that this guy wanted at that point in time, look at them right now, flourishing in world of football. So that's the thing. Because what we have seen at the club is that you say you want this player, they don't give you what you want. Mourinho came into the club, wanted the last of Marshall gone and Luke Shaw gone. He did not get that. He wanted Ivan Perisic. He did not get Ivan Perisic. Even when he was doing an interview, they were asking him, he said there were players he wanted gone 3 years ago. And those players he wanted gone 3 years ago were still in United right now. Players that a manager said, I want him gone, he's still there right now. They're still there at the club right now. So it doesn't make any sense. So now Brennan says everybody is to blame. It's about the chemistry, the club, the manager, the players, and the fans versus the rest of the league. Fact,
Yes,
fact. Then it says a different manager would be able to get more out of the squad, but the choice of manager is due to the long term. where the people in charge want the club to play football. And Vegeta, you know what is this man? You know, it's crazy. But people will tell you we don't play good football. We don't play good football. The boy is shite. People, there are some people that believe all this football was rubbish. But in my own opinion, I believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, aside Luis Van Gaal, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer football was also very good. Yes, it might not be what he wanted. He had to switch because of the players he had. But one thing I can say to that is that I watched Ole was putting nine past Southampton. He put like he went down 2-0 to Leeds United and they won the game 6-2. He was scoring goals. And I believe he's one guy I believe, yes, he might not be the guy as in the caliber. He's too people will tell you he's too soft because your fan base, like Brendan said, they are a problem. Fans will tell you that the team need a coach that will put a hand around the players and whatever, whatever. Some will tell you they need a manager that will have to just go in and be telling them the pushes and everything. They've had those managers. They've had it. You guys had Raf Ragnick. If I want that man, I love that guy, the way he talks on press conference. He said it the way it is. And I think that sacked him. Actually, that was what I sacked that guy. Because he comes to the media, he said the way it is. And he said, yeah, it's not cosmetic. It's not cosmetic. A rebuild, it's an art surgery. And he mentioned 10 players that United should look to get. And what happened? They did not get any of them. But all those players were signed by other clubs and they end up flourishing for those teams. The likes of your Alvarez. Alvarez, before you left Argentina League, Alvarez was not nowhere near Man City when Rafnik spoke about him. So many players he spoke about, nobody went for him. So one thing about like the club, I would say they backed the wrong guy because the way they backed Ten Hag, if they had backed Mourinho that way, I believe that guy would have won United the Premier League. A lineup. The way they backed that Ten Hag, 600 million. They've not done that with another manager. Basically, the same thing Arsenal are doing. Arsenal refused to back Unai Emery. They are backing Arteta. So sometimes they make those silly mistakes. I want to just check what he said here as well. Brennan said here, he says, I said it because under Ole, we were better away than we were at home. It is the result of how players are abused by our home fans. Your fans are a problem, bro. Then Brendan says again, he says, Manchester United with more freedom in other stadiums, they were happier. It's like an abusive relationship.
We played our
But
best football in COVID when there was nobody at the stadium, ironically.
yeah, that's another thing people were saying. Most of the time we're playing. Big up to Mark, man. Big up to Mark. Big up to you, bro. Only had a better team.
Can I can
Mm,
I can I ask though? Because this is the problem I have with fans. How do I articulate this? When we had these better players, let's look at the team. If I remember, we had David De Gea,
mhm.
we had people like Eric Bailey and the
Yeah,
team.
everybody. To
We,
Assembly,
we had
Brother Williams,
yeah, we had Pogba, we had McFred, if I'm not mistaken.
Lindelof,
Yes, Lindelof has been here.
yeah,
Uh,
Lindelof.
Definitely had Rashford because he's been
Yeah,
here since
sure.
Louis. Um, we had Bruno was here
Yeah,
under
Bruno.
Oli.
Yeah, Bruno was there. Yes, was there.
Um, so when we had these people,
Ronaldo.
yes,
No, Ronaldo came in the second season. In his second
yeah,
season, that's when he came. And he
but
said he said he did not want Ronaldo. He said he did not want Ronaldo.
let's look at these players, and I agree, these are good players, mind you, I agree.
Mhm.
But Temba, if we go back to that past and you watch YouTube, all I heard was Lindelof not good enough,
Mhm.
Pogba virus, Martial
Mhm.
couldn't be bothered,
Mhm.
Rashford purple patch. Bruno, we loved because he was different from what we were used to. So I'll give them that. Um, CR7, we overcompensate for Ronaldo all of a sudden. Apparently, scoring 17 league goals is a problem. Um,
Imagine. Like I will not lie to you, man. I will not lie to you, man. Honestly, man, I still don't understand how Ronaldo scored 18 goals in that league, in that team, man. It's a miracle.
I'm just going through this team because the fans. I'm not saying Mark per se, but this better team people said were not good. But all of us, we got. This is the thing I hate about this fan base. These people were not good. They were viruses. They were criminals. They couldn't be bothered, but it was a good team. So somehow, Oli got these criminals to perform, and it was vibes. If this is what if vibes is doing better than coaching, why don't we just get vibes back? Because coaching is not working.
Yeah, just do vibes then. I'll take vibes all day then. I'll take vibes all day.
I'm not gonna rewrite history and say that everything was perfect. We lost the final, we finished second. It was not nice. I think we finished trophyless under Oli. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah,
fantastic.
he lost the final in the Europa Cup. He
It
lost
wasn't
the final.
fantastic, but let's not make it seem like he did a crap job. Like, come on.
But Britain right now, I've seen people talking about Amorim out, Amorim out, Amorim out. Let's just say it's a situation whereby Amorim is sacked.
Hmm.
Does it fix anything?
Um, it proves the Eric Ten Hag in people right in the sense that we're stuck in a loophole that we will never escape. Um, except that we didn't wait 18 months for this one. We
Yeah.
just wanted to do it now. I don't think it solves any problems, bro, because sacking Ruben isn't going to force players to play better football. It's not going to increase the IQ, the decision making. It's not going to make Onana a world class goalkeeper all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's not going to make certain players more consistent. I mean, some people think that if we bring back Sancho, he might work. I don't know how they
Bro.
come to that conclusion.
Bro.
Um, it's a stupid thing to say that Ruben getting sacked will fix everything when you think that's the only problem. If you add other things, if you try to make it make sense, I don't know how you're gonna make it make sense to fire this guy without a window. But for argument's sake, if you said let's get rid of Ruben AYZ and start properly because maybe you think Ineos made a mistake, there's a conversation there. But if you just think, oh, we fire Ruben, we get another person. Some people were saying Ancelotti, you crackheads. Um, you get somebody else in and it fixes because that's what some people are saying. Like if you get a better manager, mind you, this guy had a flipping fantastic win record before coming to Man
Bro,
United.
man hasn't lost any game in this thing. Did not lose any game.
And you can say Portuguese league all you like, but where are we getting all the other managers? Because we're not hiring in the English Premier League, guys. We need to stop this thing of yeah, but that Portuguese. Bruh, these people have CVs that are good enough. They come to our team and die. It's not just because of them, okay? Because the same managers are gonna go to other places and be good. Okay,
True.
let's not act like they just crap. We also have to fix ourselves. There's something wrong with us at the club besides Ruben that we need to address.
Well, I don't know if you've seen Eric Cantona. Eric Cantona actually, he made a quote going in on these guys, man. This is what he had to say. He said, he said, Sir Ratcliffe and Ineos ownership, direction of Manchester United. Then he stating that they are trying to destroy everything and not respecting anyone. Can you see how big that comment is? They are trying to destroy everything. Like basically, he's talking about the little record or the little thing that that still makes United United. These
Mhm.
guys are trying to destroy it. Then he says the club is being run like a business, which focus on economy and strategy. Because one thing is for me, ever since this guy came into the club, it has been sacking. And I look at it in this aspect as well. You look at the guys they were earning big as well. Most of them are gone. And the way, for me, the way they are doing this thing, they don't do it as if they have the love of the club at heart. It's like, man, let's just see how we can just make profit and see how we can just, take this club the way they see what they believe in how many years' time the club is going to worth, what's it called? Uh, 10 billion. Maybe that's what they have in their mind. But, like, what do you have to say about what Eric Cantona said, first of all?
First of all, the club is a business. I think that's a reality that we all don't like to hear, but we don't get sponsorship deals because people are our friends. Those sponsors come as a result of the fan base that we have because they want to extend their reach. It's business.
True.
That's how business works. If people didn't know, you attract marketing because your brand means something. You get me? So also, fun fact: you need money to run the football club.
True.
Unless we're saying we're an NPO, because there's two entities that make money, right? It's either a business or an NPO. I don't know if we're an NPO.
Non-profit
I I,
organization.
I stand to be corrected. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's solely just a business timber, but to a degree, there are responsibilities to shareholders and to board members and to people who have invested in the club. So I know we look at it from a fan perspective to say, yeah, but football, whatever. But it's not wrong to say that Man United is a business. It is a business. It's just a business that is attached to a community. That's the difference. It's not.
Wow.
It's not like BMW or whatever. You're not. There's no community attached to that brand. You get me? They
Yeah,
have
yeah,
people who
yeah,
like the brand,
yeah,
but it's not
yeah.
like we're going to watch games for that
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So Man United was built by the people of that area. So there's a following attached to that. But in the modern terms of the club and its running, there is a business element to it. So let's not act like people don't have responsibility to make sure that people get paid on time and things work. That's what businesses do, right?
Like what Mark is saying, yeah, Mark is saying that the club is a football club. Business has different classification.
But I feel like that's an emotional response to what I'm saying. You can't dismiss the business aspect of Man United. So to be angry at people trying to make money is crazy. Who
Yeah,
puts
that's the
one
next truth, man.
who put
1.3 billion.
1.2 billion into something and they don't want to make money? You got what I'm saying?
That's it. Yeah, I get a point. And like you say, it says business has different faculties.
But it's a business.
Um,
A business might have different faculties, but it doesn't change the fact that it's a business.
I believe it's a businessman.
It's a business,
Honestly,
guys.
people that buy
Guys,
shares and buy is they want profit as well somehow.
okay. You know what? Ne? Let's not be. What is the definition of a business? Let's talk English now. What
Make
is
up
a business?
iFan.
I'm going
Make
to
up
Google.
iFan. Go to Google, man. We've got the time, man. Today.
What a business is an organization that provides goods or services to others with the primary goal of generating a profit by selling those goods or services. So, are these people not trying to make a profit? Is my question. Because, like I said, there are only two entities, Temba, that are run to make money or have money involved.
Yeah.
It's people who are getting donations, NPOs,
Yeah.
and their businesses. Now, within the word business, there are different types of businesses. There's a technical business, there's a financial business. This is a sports business, but it's a business. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
It Because it's a sports business, it'll differ to an industrial business. Of course, because like I said, this one is attached to a community. There are there are people who this means something to them. It's you saw how I responded to this thing yesterday, brother.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah. I
care.
saw. I saw.
I don't care if iPhone tomorrow goes out of business. Mchana. It's iPhone. It is what it is. But I care if this team gets relegated or liquidated. That there are differences to it. So listen, what I'm trying to say is, and I feel like people are misunderstanding me. What I'm trying to say is that let's not dismiss the fact that people are trying to make money from it. There's nothing wrong with that, bruh.
Yeah.
Th- This thing is an issue because we are not benefiting from them trying to make money. That's the problem, Temba.
True.
Because
True.
if we were winning, because that's how you make more money in this business, you have to win. Man United are Man United. We have the money and capital, the clout because of our history, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's nobody's throwing billions of dollars and whatever at us because we weren't winning. So you have to win to make the money. But there's money being made. Is my point.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
just say, yeah, but people are trying to make money. So let's say somebody else. Let's say we got Qatari. Is Qatari coming in to just throw money at some? Are they trying not to make money?
They
Who's
will
buying
definitely
United
win.
without the aim of making money? Is my thing. Is my question. But if those people came in and helped us to win, would we care that they are making money?
Nah. No way. I don't
So
think
you see
so.
what I'm trying to say? It's like when I was saying that we all want to win, we just differ about how we want to get there, right?
Yeah.
The issue is that we're not winning in China. That's the problem we
Yeah.
have.
That's a big problem.
And the problem we also have is that these people's decisions are also dodgy for the business because the business is not winning. And if we're not winning, that's another problem with not winning. We're gonna lose money because we're not gonna be in Europe because our sponsors are
Yeah.
gonna
Lose.
look at us and say,
Yeah. Yeah.
"Chief, you're not in UEFA. What's going on? We can't pay you.
See, the
We've got
thing
debt
is,
to
though,
pay."
not a cut here, bro. Big up to everybody. RL short time here, but I
Yo,
just wanted to say it like this, right? I get the whole is a business thing. Now, in the last 2 years, the progression of the world and all these things, this term business when it comes to sports, yeah, the sporting industry have registered like businesses, but they don't operate like regular businesses, right? First of all, when you go into sports, you could go and check it in all the sports. Sports teams aren't usually the most profitable, yeah, businesses in the world. It's more like a service than a business. They don't sell any products. They don't manufacture nothing. There's no there's no average cost of production, right? So it cannot be deemed as a business. Because all businesses have an average cost of production. They have a product, they have a raw material, a buy and a sale and a cause, a refinement process and a manufacture process, a sale process. How none of that in sports. Yeah. So all the fancy, intelligent people like what like big up to Wajid and them men, but they're trying to blanket statements to say, well, sports is not a business, it's an industry. Yeah. Profit
But
is
man,
come when you win. You don't
but
make
man,
profit in a football club if you're not winning. That's the intrinsic link that makes sports different to a regular business. If
but
you
Mark,
don't win, you don't profit.
but
Yeah?
Mark, well, we understand that. But what you are saying here is that okay, even though it's not about us calling it business, but at the end of the day, it's about profit.
No, it is
Those people,
not. It's
it,
not
no,
it's about
it,
winning titles and trophies. That's
and
what
that's
let
where you're
them
making
lost
money
sight of.
from.
Bro,
From it,
football, let me tell you something, King. Listen to me. Hear me out carefully, right, bro? Football, footballers and football clubs earn a lot of money. It wasn't always so. You know why this becomes so? Because all these famous brands realize the following, the power that football have, the amount of fans, and they tapped into football to sell their products like Nike, Adidas, Reebok, all these players. It used to be mostly Umbo and Rossi and Diadora and some weird name brands that a lot of people don't know about nowadays used to sponsor football. Lotto and all these things. Yeah. Now, now is all kind of PSG is Jordan and all kind of things sponsoring because they're using football clubs to sell their products to their fans. This is where the sponsorship come in. It's not because of the football club being profitable or nothing like that, bro. Because the football club is winning. Yeah.
yeah, Mark, I agree with
Sponsors.
what you are
So
saying.
no, no,
I
no,
agree
no,
with
no,
what you are
no, no, no,
saying.
no. You see, the problem is the concept. It is not a business. A football club is a football club in an industry that generates money. Yeah? Is like natural gas is a specialty business. Nobody in manufacturing in natural gas, it just they. You just break, you're just funneling it into a container and selling it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
So
get your point. Okay, look at what
you
iFan says
cannot
here.
blanket the statement as it is a business, it has to have profit and loss. It don't work so.
Mark, look at what
Football is work
iFan is saying.
on winning titles. The aim of all football clubs is not to be billionaires, it's to win titles, bro. It's two different things.
Mark,
So, yes, I understand the concept of the football club as a business had to be profitable so that they could spend money and do all the nice things. But I secondary. You
but
understand what I'm
Mark,
saying?
we are
There are no
saying
buts.
we are
There are no
saying
buts
one
there,
thing.
bro.
No, just
Football clubs didn't
look
go
at
into
what iFan
business.
says here. Look at what iFan says here. He said you can argue that a successful football club do business through commercial value, sponsorship, ticket sales, buying and selling of players, developing players and selling goods.
Yeah,
The
but
honest truth is that
that is not. But you see, the business. You see, the problem with man them is man them trying to bring it down to profit and loss. Football clubs don't work on profit and loss like that. Now they need to be sustainable. That is one thing. But you're not hearing me. Hear me out first.
you
Hear me
can
out
see it
and hear the
that way.
explanation. Yeah, but
You can see it
Irfan
that
saying
way.
that because he translating it for all in our business model like the modern business world. But it's not a business, bro. If you check how many millions of football clubs, or the hundreds of football clubs that have in the world, bro, not all of them could buy and sell players at the level that everybody is doing it on. It's a matter because they did not win in football. You can't start a football club today and end up like Manchester United in 10 years. It don't happen like that. You understand what I'm saying? Unless
But
super luck on your side or you is a billionaire investing in a football club. No, that's different gravy. You cannot conflate the fact that some clubs owned by billionaires, and this is why they are able to run the way they are run and buy and sell and look profitable on the books. Football clubs' aim is not to sell, is not to profit, it's to win titles. When they will profit along the way because if they win, a sponsor will give them more money. More sponsors will come and sponsor the club and give the club more money. So more fans will support the club. More fans will buy kits. More fans will come to games. This is how they make money. But it's all about what is not the priority in the sense of our business, like people who manufacturing clothes because they
okay,
need someone to buy every single jersey so they can make money. You understand what I'm saying?
Mark, I understand what you're saying. Because one thing is this man, you have like Vegeta said, he mentioned something, he said, this guy bring out they bought a share, 29% share of the club for 1.3 billion.
Not all football clubs are shares. Man United is one of the only football clubs in the world that is on the stock market,
Of which
right?
I don't dispute that. I'm just saying that I believe that every club wants to win titles because you win titles, you get deals. Because right now, there's a possibility that you guys don't get to the Champions League. You guys are still going to lose somebody that's sponsoring you guys currently. And that is you losing money. You might not see it that way, but the people in charge of the club that owns the club sees it that way. We are losing this deal, we are losing money. But when this comes in, it's a way of profit for the owners of the club, which is why I said you might not really be a business, but honestly, in hindsight, it's for us to
Yeah,
make
but
money.
that is specific to United because the owners put the club on the US stock exchange. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at 98% of football clubs not on no not is not public owned businesses for one reason. Because why? It's not a business like that. They as Americans did that to deflect from their responsibility as owners. You understand? So they could maximize the regular business channels to access credit lines to use the business, right, as an asset, right? Most players became assets in this football club. So no other football club is operate like Man United, bro. Real Madrid don't do that. PSG don't do that. Barcelona, you know, Bayern Munich. All the top football clubs, none of them are public owned entities on a stock exchange like Man United. So when people come talking about all these things, Sir Jim, yeah, they talk about Sir Jim. They say Sir Jim invest in the football club. Sir Jim didn't invest nothing in Manchester United, bro. he bought shares from the owner of the club. He didn't invest any money into Man United. Yeah, so when people talk about he have an investment, he don't have an investment in the football club. He
No,
invests money in buying shares. That money, everybody and the mother knows it was never going into Manchester United Football Club. It was going straight into the Glazer pockets because they own the shares he bought. If I buy shares from Vegeta for his company, I paying Vegeta, I not paying the company. Because Vegeta own the shares. You understand what I'm saying?
I get your point.
So then now, if I say I invested in the company, I had to take money now or have a deal with Vegeta beforehand that the money I pay him, a percentage going to go into the business to be used to help, recover or bring it back to the standard that was falling before I invested in any money. Right? So Jim never did that. But yet we have fans, intelligent people coming out every single day and saying to fans, lying to fans and saying, Ineos invested money in this football club and it's the Glazers. No, it's not. Ineos had the books for 6 months, the accounts, the finances. You don't think they? Let me ask a question. How stupid are they if they didn't know all this was going to be a result of their plan of how they was going to bring United, the Manchester, back in Manchester. They knew in a forehand that all this that is happening now was going to be the problem based on their projections. They knew all of this. So they can't act and pretend that this is unlucky or they didn't expect this. They know. They are just sitting there and deflecting and laughing and hoping the fans do riot. I'm being honest. And if anybody believe otherwise, then I'm sorry. Because, maybe this, you wasn't paying attention in last year when the sale was going through. When they talk about for 6 months, they have the books out and all these things. How could you spend $1.3 billion after you know the financial state of the football club and not have a clause that made the Glazers have to invest at least 500 million into the football club out of that money? Or if that wasn't going to work out with the deal that you made with them, why didn't you invest 500 million of your own money? You have no intentions to run this club as a football club. You have every intention to run this club like a Sainsbury's or something like that.
They are running like as a business. And that's what what's his
And
name?
that is why
Eric
it failed.
I
And that is
say.
why they fail. Because, and this is why they fail at Nice, and they're failing at Nice. This is why they fail at Mercedes. This is why they're failing at Lausanne. This is why they fail at British Cycling. This is why Sir Jim Ratcliffe and the Ineos Group are failures in every single sporting venture they've ever encountered or embarked upon. But you know what? He's British, so let's back him. You know?
Yeah, he's
That's all
back
I
him
had to
now.
say about that, bro.
That's what they were saying now. They will back him because he's a British. But before we move on to the next, this one I want to talk about, let me just go through what Ivan said. He said football clubs do not have function like a business. They can be owned by an individual and only have a flat structure, while a business must have certain structures in place in terms of reporting. Then it says a football club is an investment, a viable commercial conducted. If the club wins trophies, a business provides. Okay, if they win trophies, business provides a service or goods to make profit. A football club attracts commercial value. Um, then it says right now, Ineos are running the club like a business, which is futile exercise. You will lose the club identity, loyalty, and disgruntly players, which might affect the club performance and hurt it. Lastly, and please read this. This is a business focused on customers and revenue. A football club focused on fans and legacy. Emotional drives the brand. Big up to you, bro. I just state it the way it is. But moving on, Vegeta, man, because I want to just ask you something, man. Rashford, we've been seeing what Rashford have been doing at Villa. We've seen what Anthony have been doing at Real Betis. Now, the question I want to ask is this, man. Should they come back? Should they be allowed to come back to United? Because I go by the fact of people talking about how Rashford is proving Amorim wrong. Anthony is proving Amorim wrong. I would always make a case for Anthony because I believe Anthony did not really get much game time under uh, Amorim. But my own personal focus is on Marcus Rashford. Do you think this guy should be allowed to come back to the club, or you are actually done with this dude? You just want him gone.
I think the decision lies with Ruben, irrespective of whether it's Anthony or Rashford, in my opinion. Now, if you're asking for my personal opinion on both players, uh, I think both of them should move on from us because you can argue that Anthony didn't get enough time, sure, but in the appearances I've seen from both players, I wasn't satisfied with their level of performance. But more so Rashford, man. Rashford's been here long enough. He's been here for like donkey years, bro. And he got to a point where he didn't seem like he was interested in playing for us. He was acting out. He was doing like you can't explain how a person can go from not working hard on the pitch to all of a sudden pressing for Unai. It's a choice.
Bro,
It's a choice at the end of the day. And
even taking the set piece, corner
so
kicks, and
if it requires him to be at a different club to perform, then it means he shouldn't. There's nothing to forgive. It's just let's just end it here. The relationship is finished, and let's just move on. Um, because whether or not these people come back, they'll still be Man United at the end of the day. Now, with
through.
regards to Anthony, I think that's a decision that Ruben has to analyze himself. Like with all of the other guys, if he feels like there's a place for them, fair. But if he doesn't feel like he's gonna use them, then it's a waste of time to bring them back. So I think it's about what he's trying to do, what the club wants to do, because the club also has to back him, and some of these decisions include that. Like if Ruben doesn't want the person here, it's pointless
Yeah.
because you're just gonna have a resource that's not being utilized properly or not at all that you're paying for, which could go to something else, and
Yeah.
it could be delaying our. I don't know. I want to say rebuild, but yeah,
I asked you this question yesterday, and you didn't really give me the full answer because the game yesterday took it out of you. Um, what would be your ideal £200 million team if you are given like team £2 million? Like, which players are you bringing into the club?
It's a very tough. I think this is a nice question for Mark because Mark really spends a lot of time with transfers and watching other teams. I really don't like United stresses me to a point where I don't give myself enough of an opportunity to watch other teams. So that's why whenever we get linked to a player, for the most part, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they've done. So it would be really hard for me to try and spend that money. In my
Yeah,
that's just the
Mark.
truth.
Mark is here. But I said, if there are players there, I think will come into the club now and improve your team. I think
I'm, I
Mark,
mean, for me, okay, okay, like for me, signings and inter-club relations.
You on mute? Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, you get $200, build your dream transfer window. Who's in, who's out. Like, to be fair, bro, I think we need to add to the squad more than we need to like sell, sell, sell. We do need to move some players on. Like, okay, arguably, I would move Rashford on because I believe that he's been here for a decade and he has not performed to the levels, or he has not stepped up to be a leader in this team like he should. And you don't lead by talking, is lead by doing. Performances on the pitch is what make more sense, or make it important, or what make you deserve your place. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, it's difficult. It's a difficult one because I would like to bring in the likes of I would like to bring in some of the players like a Trincao. I wanted to bring in January. I wanted to bring in this guy. What's his name? Oh, his name now. Shirky for 10 million euro, for 10 million pounds or 12 million pounds, because he was on a 20 million euro release clause this January. We didn't sign him. I think that was a mistake by the club. I think we need to get another centre back or two because Lindelof is leaving. We need another DM because, Casemiro, he could play like maybe 20, 30 games, but you don't want him to start week in, week out, or play 2 games a week, 90 minutes. We have Ugarte, but he need a partner. What happen if one of them fellas get injured? So we do need another DM. We definitely need a senior striker. All this hype about Liam Delap, and you know, I'm not saying Liam Delap is not a good player. I'm not saying that he's not good and he might not develop into a top striker at some point. But I would just say this: Liam Delap don't know nothing about playing at a club the size of Manchester United, with the pressure to having to win games and having to score goals
True.
week in, week out. He playing at Ipswich. Let's be honest. They have less than 20,000 fans in the stadium week in, week out. None of them fans expect Ipswich to win every single game. They're not going to criticize him for missing 2 chances in a game every single day until the next game. And if he miss 2 chances, it will continue for the following week. That's not happening to him there. So while he might be looking really good now, he might come here and totally fail. Because guess what? He don't have a clue about dealing with the pressure at Manchester United, or that size of pressure, or playing at that size, at that size of a football club. Now we
Yeah,
could say he needs to get a better team, but I think we need to see what he could do another season after this relegation situation, because realistically he only played 1 season in the Prem, and I mean,
right.
I think he is get a little bit of he's get the same treatment like Harry Kane. Harry Kane could tackle players, foul players, and they will not call it. They will not give him a yellow card. And I think that is something unique to English players in the league, especially the ones that have hype around them, or a certain sense of hope for their development in terms of them being one of the best in the world. I just think it's a madness, to be honest. But yeah, I would also sell Anthony, because it seems like he enjoying himself at Real Betis. Of course,
Exactly.
we could understand a lot of fans don't like the player because, like they said, they didn't see the performances that they expected, and he on a lot of big wages. So I would sell him just to avoid having him deal with the abuse week in, week out. You know what I'm saying? And I would probably also, I don't know. I don't know who else. I wouldn't say I would sell Maguire. Well, no, because it looked like Maguire performing well in Abraham's system. He fit in that back three and performing. So I wouldn't say I will be in a rush to sell him, but I definitely would get rid of Luke Shaw and Mason Mount. I believe Mason Mount doesn't offer anything but bullshit to the team. He can only run. And if you want a man to run, I mean, cool, that's cool and all, but I don't understand how you could have a player wearing the number 7 for Manchester United and all he good at is running around the place. He don't create nothing. He don't take shots. He don't get chances to shot. If he have a shot today, he might not have a shot for the next 10 weeks. You understand what I'm saying?
He's
Yeah.
And he
injured
on more
all
money than Anthony. He on 240 and 50 something K a week.
and he's injured all the time. People make it seem like it's our fault that he's injured. He's injured all the time, bro.
Mark, you know what is about this Messi matter with him, man? Vegeta would say to you, I don't have a problem with him. Just drop the number 7 shirt. He said he doesn't have a problem with him. He just wants that number
Like
7
he's
shirt
trying.
taken from him. Like,
That
take that
number
shirt from
seven,
him.
that number seven
Brother,
has been punished, bro.
it,
But look at
I'm gonna
what
tell you
Ifan said.
something, right? I'm gonna tell
Okay,
you
go on.
something, right? Everybody knows I was back in Ten Hag, right?
Yeah,
But you see that sabotage, because many coaches will get sabotaged. Let me be honest, right? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer could lie and tell people he didn't want Ronaldo, but we know he wanted Jadon Sancho. And then when Jadon Sancho come, he didn't have a clue of what to do with Jadon Sancho. You
True.
understand? You know, and I look at it from a perspective where he spent 80 something million to buy Harry Maguire as well. So I can't give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the excuses you want to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he had one of the best squads that Man United had in a long time and he did nothing with it. Because guess what? The squad was good enough, but he didn't have the tactical nous to take them to that next, above that next level. You know? Ruben Amorim,
Did he
as
add
a coach that I
Varane also?
admired.
He had
Ruben,
Varane also.
what's that?
Did he add Varane also?
Yeah. Bro, Gunnar Solskjaer had everybody. He had the best United squad. And it's the worst. You know what I mean? Men want to talk about it. Listen, I have this. I don't know. I not like most fans. A lot of fans have this thing where a player is a legend as a player. He become a coach. All of a sudden, he go be the next great coach. Me, Ruud van Nistelrooy is a prime example of that is bullshit. Cause he's a fucking shit coach. You dig? You
Most of
understand?
our
The
legends,
man
bro.
couldn't do
It's not
his
just
job.
him.
The man
Most
couldn't
of our
even
legends.
do his job to get the strikers to score goals, bro, because he was the attacking coach. He was no assistant coach. He was hired as the attacking coach.
That's true. That's
We
true.
didn't score no goals, boy.
That is true.
And all the while, he trying to get Ten Hag out of the job so he could become manager of Man United. Off of what? What has he done in football as a coach? He's won nothing. In fact, the one team that he was coaching, the entire team went to the board to get him fired. Because guess what? They said that he has no flexibility as a coach. He has no understanding of how to interact with people on personal skills. Right? He is brash, he's like a tyrant. And the board fired him from PSV, bro. You dig? So Ten Hag get this man a lifeline on his coaching career. And you all of a sudden you think you should be coaching Man United. And fans, Rude should coach Man United. How dumb are you, bro?
Bro, Mark, I just want to step in there, bro. That's why I said if we go back to the fan conversation, our fans are special, bro. Because who's the Ipswich guy? We wanted him too, as
Kieran
manager.
McKinnon. McKenna.
We wanted this guy too for some random reason, bro.
Kieran McKenna.
Bro, men them said McKenna better than Ten Hag.
Yeah, they said that, bro. And nah, bro, that's that's
First
that's
of all, let me just go to Ifan said. It says Rashford is at the level, is at his level. Understanding a player's roof is important, so is for Sancho and Anthony as well. Then it says Rashford takes free kicks, even corner kick. He already looks the most senior player at Villa because that's their level. Then it says to me it's Francisco Trincao or nothing. Then it says the only true business conducted in the football club is selling goods, but the core income is generated by buying and selling players and commercial investment. Then it says Ineos is killing United legacy and identity, e.g. the new stadium and changing the culture in the club. Then on the player say, it says get rid of Lindelof, Evans, Benda, Sancho, Anthony,
wait.
Rashford, and that
Man say buy in there.
63-year-old.
And there, bro. Where's Onana on that list, bro?
Then it says,
Bro,
and that
he from
63-year-old goalkeeper coach. Then it says, what does a 63-year-old man coach a goal?
yeah, but he come with Amarim. I don't know what man talking about this Amarim bring back.
Bro, bro,
That fella
man.
come with Amarim, boy. So I don't know. But all I know is that 63-year-old coach come along with Amarim. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah,
Yeah?
yeah.
So
Based
blame Amarim for that 63-year-old coach.
But I
Replace
also
Onana with Bayern there in that list. You could have something going on there. But,
based
to be fair,
based
I don't see, I don't know, man. I had to take a hot chip for this.
man,
I
this
had the hot
was
chip for the longest while. I just didn't have time to do it. But I just don't see how Mendes hype Ahmad to the levels is hype Ahmad, and he don't do nothing more than Anthony was doing. Nothing. In fact, he don't even have the output or the intense performance in 90 minutes for the length of time average in a game as Anthony. Ahmad is show up 15 minutes in a game and disappear. He out of the game for 70 minutes every week since he get a new contract. But man, them ain't ready for that argument. They ain't ready for that conversation.
At all. I thought the
They're not
argument
ready for
now.
that conversation. But Vegeta, I would say this. When I tell men everything I tell men for the last 6 months, yeah? When I was begging everybody not to sack Ten Hag, you see Rance and Bance and Saeed and all
Mm,
these men talking about it.
Those guys
yeah,
are rubbish, man.
yeah, I follow
The
those guys.
biggest sack Ten Hag outers. And
Yes,
all of a
Honestly,
sudden we shouldn't we made a mistake.
I mean, it's nonsense, man.
but
You
you know
know,
why, Mark? You know why, Mark? The problem, and I said this to Timber, when we have these conversations, people look at them too simplistically, in my opinion. Even if you have the opinion of sacking Ten Hag, people thought that it's just if you uproot the manager and put a new manager. They were not adding other factors. That's why they've got, I don't know what we call it in football, but when you've got that remorse, I shouldn't have done this. Like, no, chief, you didn't analyze the situation enough. You thought that only one part of this problem was the problem. And that's their problem. And also, the other problem that people like those guys have is that they want to be seen as football gurus, which I'm like, I don't know who told you you're a football guru. You're a fan, just like you and me. You,
exactly.
we are watching the game with the same eyes, chief. If you were this good guy, you would be managing a professional team
Exactly my
successfully.
point.
So that's the problem with those people. Whereas us, I would like to believe, we behave like fans, guys. We are people with channels. We are fans. We say stuff. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. But the goal is never to
Exactly.
be right or wrong. It's just to have an opinion.
Yeah,
Exactly. And you
yeah,
know
I
what?
agree.
For me, bro, I don't know about. You see, listen, and my idea, this whole thing having a channel is just to interact with you guys like you, fans,
Yeah,
have
yeah,
conversations. You know, I have an
yeah.
opinion about something. Now, I might like my opinion, but other guys might say something that might make me check my opinion. You know what I mean? But
100.
when I say I watching football for about 30 years, bro, or more, right? At the
Yeah,
level of where I could understand what's going on in the game. I see plenty. And it have men who see more than me. And the older folk is always say, bro, sometimes it don't work how you expect it to. Sometimes it does look terrible, but that is when it getting better. And if you could class that with a football club, you have to class that with players as well. These fellas
mm,
is human beings just like you and I. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm,
And players from the 80s is not players from the 90s. Players from the
Mhm.
90s is not players from the 2000s. And the 2010s and afterwards, yeah, they just don't really cut the mustard like the players before them. They don't have the courage, they don't have the endurance, they don't have the physicality. You know, they're a little bit light on their feet. There's cry for fouls easier. You know, they're not as driven for glory to win. You know,
mm.
they're more driven to make money, drive nice cars, you know what I mean? Talk about being the best in the world and wear nice color looking boots and shit when they're playing. Pink and yellow and all these kind of madman thing. They ain't scoring no goals, but they're wearing some really nice boots. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
so when you look at it like that, these players nowadays will need more time to get to that level of being that professional, that seasoned pro. Back then,
mm.
youth men at 19, yeah, try
Uh,
would be working 10 times harder than they would normally work just to get into the team and stay in the team. Now when a youth man get in the team, yeah, they made it. They play one game in the senior team, they must score one goal. Yeah, they're a
mm.
big player now. You know what I mean? I need to get 100K a week. Yeah.
Like we could,
No.
Kobe.
They're saying that about Menu, but I don't believe that. I feel like they put that out as some bad PR as an excuse for when they want to
I,
sell him to make
I
money
hope,
because
I
they
hope
need
they,
profit.
I hope,
Yeah,
but it does feel like they're trying to turn us against.
yeah. They're trying to discredit me in one thing because they realize that the big profit that they will need so that they could that they could fill the pockets as well as purchase players in the summer is by selling Garnacho and Menu. So
Yeah,
the only thing is, in order to get or make it. viable that it turn the fans against them youth men because if they sell them, the fans go turn on them. You understand? So you had to discredit them. Is the greatest book in the playbook, bro. We've been seeing this for years and years. Anybody that worth anything, that have a large following, you had to discredit them first, make the following dislike them, then you could do them what you want. We see it with Michael Jackson. We see it with all kind of different all kind of different athletes, movie stars, actors, and singers, bro. You know, the media will pay some girl to come out and say this guy do this and that to them to get public opinion against the person, and then they can do them what they want. It's the same thing the club doing right now to me, you know. And
Yeah,
and
but
Acho.
our club is on steroids with the media stuff. But like I said, at the end of the day, we are just people with opinions, right, about these things. And I've never approached this thing with I am a tactical, I know more than you. I'm just a guy with a camera and a mic
Exactly.
who
Me too.
debates points with fellow United fans. And I don't think there's anything wrong with feeling a certain way, but the problem is that some people have so much ego and pride that when their opinion doesn't work out, rather than actually just saying, "Oh, I thought this way, it was wrong," they would rather be like, "No, I was right. It'll happen eventually." Like they're willing it into existence to happen, which is ridiculous. Now, before we move on to other topics, I just want to thank you, Mark, for reminding me. Temba, have you
Yeah,
ordered your chip?
bro, I'm not. I haven't ordered the chip, man. I don't know where to get it from.
We need to let the podcast people know when they must tune in to watch you
Yeah.
suffer.
And my Mark, back to you, man. When are you doing it, man? Because all
Eh,
of us are.
leave Mark alone.
Yeah,
Leave Mark alone.
I should be
You
back
said
from
you would
doing the
beat
launch for this
Arsenal.
PlayStation World Tour tonight and tomorrow. So
Mark, don't let
uh,
this guy. Don't let this guy
as
change
soon
the
as I'm
topic.
back, I will have a week off. I'll
Okay,
celebrate.
Vegeta. We saw Vincent Company comes and say blames injury for them crashing out to who did they play? They play was it PSG? No, who
Inter
did
No,
Bayern
he
Munich
Milan.
play again? Inter
he
Milan crashing out to
yeah
Inter Milan.
yeah yeah yeah
He
yeah.
was blaming it on injury. For me, I know people will say this actually, legal, but for me, I don't believe. I don't do those nonsense, man. Carlo Ancelotti was able to win the Champions League, a league like out of five trophy we challenged last season, he won four, playing midfielders as defenders, and he was able to get it over the line.
Bayern Munich
Now, the
is
question
very
is that a valid excuse or
no
that is deflection?
no hell no, bro. When you had our injuries, people wouldn't allow it, bro. And mind you, we are
Yo,
not even a good team. But also, I think Bayern Munich are just finding out that this guy's not a good coach, bro. Like y'all thought because he's playing tippy tappy things with Burnley that qualifies him. Like teams need to stop hiring people without CVs. Like actually go graft. Okay, not every young manager is going to win the Bundesliga undefeated. Okay, it's special people do this. Not everyone's going to be a Zidane and win back-to-back Champions Leagues. People need to go out and earn
Oh,
their
yo,
stuff.
yo, Zidane had real help. Let me be honest.
Okay,
that
yes,
yes.
I'm just saying though. I'm just saying that Vincent is not good. That's my point. And he hasn't given himself a chance. He failed and then went to a big team. What sort of lesson is that? How do
Hey,
you fail?
Bayern deserved that. I hear for it. I'm not even vexed that they do that. I was happy. I don't know about you, but
I'm not a Bayern supporter, so I,
bro,
I,
if
I
you're
don't.
so foolish, how could you be so stupid to hire a coach that came and finished 20th plates in his or third season in football? Yeah, yeah. Of course, he win the championship. That was amazing. I have to say, and he was coaching for what 2 or 3 years and then win the championship. But you need to. A coach should win a season with one of a club and play 3 more seasons with that club for you to really assess the quality of that coach. You understand? This is
Yep.
why I respect certain men like Fergie, like Carlo Ancelotti. I respect Simeone Inzaghi, but I don't think his style go fit Man United. So I never really was interested in him as a Man United coach. But it's our coaches I respect. Men like, you must respect Trapper Tony and certain men them. You know? These coaches and them, they've done it. Yeah. Nobody and men them is want to come and tell me coaches like Vincent Company and all these man them better than certain coaches who have actual trophies and titles, bro. I mean, Amarim is an amazing coach in my opinion. You know, he in the Portuguese league, he's undeniable. Undeniable. Yeah.
Mm,
Ten Hag before him was a serial winner. He demand every season since he became a coach, he's won a title.
facts.
Mark, before you go on, Ivan say something here. Ten Hag was sacked by the media and Enos obliged. They said playing in Sunday's league does not mean you don't know less football than somebody who plays league football. The only difference is application and their pair of both. Then he went further to say something very important. He said, guys, I visit many football podcasts, some who claim to know football, to know the players and their family personally. Honestly speaking, Mark knows football and I respect him. His opinion sounds opinionated, but not what? Please,
Ivan, please,
please finish that. Finish
please,
that.
we need to know more. But
Yeah, finish that, man.
I think that's what
Yeah.
makes
Oh,
our
oh,
community
I know what you
also.
mean. He said I sound super opinionated, but I'm not really opinionated.
Oh,
I just give a general
okay,
base
here we go.
opinion then. No, but
See,
All
this
for
is
right.
real,
why
bro,
you
like my
respect.
opinions on football is mine. But when you're looking at certain situations, you have to look at all factors. You can't just look at okay, like I like so like I don't rate Ahmad like everybody else, right?
Yeah.
But I could see if he, in my opinion, he's still developing. If he develop more, like if he have a more balance in driving with the ball, dribbling, taking on players and passing and crossing, yeah, he would be an asset to the team, undeniably.
He
It's
also
like
needs to stay fit,
Garnacho.
bro. These injuries are going to catch up at
Mm.
some point.
No, I,
Yeah,
I,
well,
I, I don't want to lie to you guys, man. I think this injury of a thing is you guys need to look after it, man, because in my
No,
own
but like,
opinion, it doesn't make sense having a player that is exceptional but is not available. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense because people complain about your Garnacho, but Garnacho is always available to,
but
give
you know what the
you
other
five,
problem is,
six.
Timber? But you know what the other problem is? The same people. You see me. I complain about the lack of availability because you can be good, but if you're not there, it's useless.
Yeah,
Fans will look at our injured players and then will want to go buy another injury-prone player.
it's crazy.
You get what I'm saying? You're
Yeah,
complaining about this guy, and then you want us to go buy another guy who's like him, maybe worse. That's the
that's
problem I have.
my problem is that fans need to look. Fans is have too much of problems with who's starting or not. Yeah, we have a 23-man squad, 25-man squad, whatever. Who starts is who performing best. Who cares?
Yes, they should fight.
Like, like I don't care if Amar or Garnacho starts. I don't care if they come off the bench in every game. As long as they perform and we win the games, that's all I care about, bro. If the coach say I go and start these men today and I go and start our next 10 men the next game, it didn't bother me. Because guess what? I can't change that. Yeah?
So you haven't
I
eaten?
could I could only
I
react
gave
to
them
the result
what you're going to take
and the
from my phone.
performance. So talking about players in sense that he had to start and he had to do this and this one is this and that. I think there's a little bit much, especially when we are a team still in a rebuild. We rebuilded. We have not even become the team that could compete consistently yet. So to talk about players have to start and all these things, I think is a little too soon for that. Yeah, and while we're rebuilding, look at it like this, fellas. How many teams you know in top flight football starting 4 to 5, possibly maybe 6, developing players in our team week in, week out, and expect to win and challenge for a league?
Mm,
How
I
many?
can't think of any.
How
no.
many? Bro, Ipswich ain't doing that. Think about it. Yeah, Ipswich
Brighton
are
even
two
are
young
even
players starting.
in
Brighton
Brighton
are
even
two
doing
young
doing it.
players starting. Yeah. Man United is the only team week in, week out have 4 players under 23 starting in the lineup who developing. Man United, King. Nobody
So
else.
So on the back of that, would it not say it would be in our best interests with these windows that we have between the summer now and the future ones to not invest in people who take away that pressure from those guys so they can develop? Because inevitably these kids are going to be inconsistent because they're still learning the trade of the game, and then our fan base does what our fan base does and says you're crap when maybe you're not crap, it's just bad form. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
Bro, I tired talk about this many times. Yeah. In Spain, and this is why I respect Madrid fans. Madrid fans is criticize players, but you see players who under 23 is a different criticism. There's yet. Go and look at it. Look at Barcelona and thing. Fans from them clubs, they just go heavy on the senior players. They might criticize the young players after the game, but they don't talk about them for days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks. Yeah, they just put all the pressure on the seniors, on the men who supposed to be the seasoned pros. They don't
Yeah.
put pressure on youths. And this is the problem. A lot of fans, and I think a lot of fan channels responsible for this because a lot of fan channels will come out and say, "Well, look at Lamine, and Lamine Yamal is a generational talent, bro, being coddled by an entire football club and fan base and a
Mhm.
country.
And
Yeah,
you
the
see me
whole
mistake as
country and
well.
club, the country, the club, and the fan base, they's coddle that player. You just how much criticism there's here about Lamine. It have games where he performed well, he didn't get an assist, he didn't get a goal, but you don't hear them saying, well, he missed two shots, he is shit. But if Garnacho had a great game, he didn't get a goal, he didn't get an assist, but he missed two shots, he is
Get
shit.
him out.
Get him out.
Send
And this
him.
is why I feel like a lot of fans are Man United, they've fallen ill. They fall ill with FC 24 and FC 25. The video game world is clashing with reality. I don't blame them because, I mean, the club not performing well, so you're frustrated and you're stressed and you're looking to take your stress out on wherever you can. I mean, everyone does this. It's human. Fans, like, in some moment, like, bro, like for the last couple of weeks, all I seen is Dorgu is shit.
No,
Now,
no,
he
man.
mightn't be crap. He mightn't be crap.
Man,
He might just be in
man,
a bad run of form. He might be
man.
carrying an injury.
You know one thing about I've noticed about your fan base is that they don't really watch much football. Most of them just watch their Premiership and that is it. I watched Dogo when he played against Lecce. Against Lecce, he was playing for Lecce. He was playing against Inter Milan. I watched the game and I was like, bro, I'm not really seeing that thing special about this dude. But all I saw was people watching the clips of him on YouTube, and it was saying this guy's going to be, top notch for United. I was like, no, man. I think United should better trigger the clause for Alfonso Fernandez to come back.
Alvaro Fernandez.
Alvaro Fernandez, not him. Because I watched him. I said I don't think there's anything special in him. He came in, did well in how many games, and all of a sudden now he's doing what I saw he did. Man was shooting
Bro,
shots from ridiculous points yesterday.
forget forget shooting shots, bro. Right? This is my thing with Dogu, and I've been noticing it in the last 5 games. Every game he does this. He doesn't, like when I have a loose ball, he don't chase it down. He just back off and allow the opposition, even if he could get to it first. In my opinion, from seeing his pace, he just let the opposition get the ball and try to defend it. He don't know when to bring down a player. When he had to take a card. Certain moments as a defender or a midfielder, you had to bring a player down. It's just digest the rules. You know? He don't know that. And in moments where he winning the ball, a loose ball, like a header or something, he don't pass it to anyone. He just head it into a direction, hoping a player there.
So many
And that
times.
has pissed me off, bro. It has happened every single game, at least 2 or 3 times. And then we just end up being counter-attacked. So me, I never wanted the brother. But
I didn't know
I
him.
will still be the one to say, just like Xerxes, because I never wanted him. I hope he could, in the next after a few months, he will show better form. I was right about Xerxes. Maybe in 3 months or 4 months from now next season, Doggo might be showing much better form you know what I mean, not making the mistakes he making and be a much better player. I hope so, because guess what? It will benefit Man United. But also, I already know Diego Leone will be here. And Diego Leone is a beast. He is a
I
Wait,
can
beast.
what position does he play? Sorry,
Left wing back.
left wing
Left
back.
wing back.
thank
He is a
goodness.
beast. He is
Thank
a
That guy is a
beast.
beast, bro. Yesh.
thank you. Nah,
This
guys,
brother, bro,
I don't watch enough football to know these guys. That's why I'm asking.
I used to
Diego
watch him.
Leon.
He's play, bro. Listen to me. The youth man hungry. You know how you see how
Are we linked to
I
him?
know what I don't like John
They
McGinn.
signed him already.
I
Say
don't like
leave.
John McGinn, right? But guess what? John McGinn have a kind of dogged instinct. He is run. He's terrorize you when he defended and thing. Yeah? And he have pace and a good engine. Diego Loni is just like that.
They signed him
And the
already.
youth man could cross the ball
Oh,
well.
we signed him already.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
signed him already.
They signed him long time, bro. He just wasn't 18 yet, so he couldn't sign officially for the club as a player in the team.
Okay, okay. I like this report that you guys are giving. I'm actually looking forward to the transfer shows that Mark is going to be doing now that we're going to be entering the summer that side very soon. So, guys, please be sure you are subscribed to Mark NFU MUFC. I'll be there. You know, Mark knows I'm going to be calling into those morning shows to hear who we are linked to.
Let's talk
Yo,
about
this transfer summer, I really excited for. At the same time, I don't want to. I ain't really do no transfer talks this last couple of weeks because here, okay, it's a complicated situation with Man United window. I know we hearing a lot of we link to this player, that player, and thing, but hmm, the bottom, excuse, the bottom line of the whole situation is there's two lists. There's basically two possibilities of two transfer windows for Man United. One, the amazing window that everybody's imagining. We need to win the Europa League to get that. Like, it's not, it's like only if we win the Europa League, we get that amazing transfer window that everybody talking about. On the flip side, we don't win the Champions League, we don't win the Europa League. Yeah, it's probably going to be sell to buy. We might buy 3 to 4, 5 players, maybe, and that's within selling Ghana, selling maybe Rashford, Anthony, Garnacho, maybe 1 or 2 more players,
And not
and
getting
bring
sent.
in 5 to 6 players. That is the reality of what we're looking at. So realistically, I didn't want to start talking anything about transfers right now because to me it kind of benign in this moment because
Mhm.
really and truly you're just speculating based on the fact that hearsay. You hear that the club would like to do this, that, and the other, but the finances right now not allowing for those things. And even when you sell to buy, bro, you're getting 40 million at max for Rashford. You had to pay him about 18 million off to get him out of the club. So that's 22 million you remain with. You sell Garnacho for 60. Let me say you want to buy Cunha. He is going to be 60 million probably plus. Yeah? Who else you could buy with that 80 million? Nobody. You dig? It-
man.
Yeah,
It's
It's
but
going to
very
be long, bro.
it's a
but
Gonna be
that's
very
why
tough,
long.
we
tough situation. I
we
fancy
need
so whosoever scotted Dogo must be fired. Before we talk about that loss, just something right now. We saw Madrid crashed out to Arsenal against Arsenal 5-1. Not surprised because I called it out. I said this might not if he doesn't do the basic, we are going to lose. And the good part about the whole thing is that Carlo Ancelotti, you could say he has been sacked, you could say he has not been sacked, he's leaving the club,
it's
he's going to
Everton.
leave. Yeah, they had a discussion because I don't think it's somebody they can sack. So maybe they had this discussion for him to just work on his own. So he's going to leave after the Copa del Rey final against Barca.
Is that
So far,
does that happen after the league, Timber, the Copa del Rey?
no, I think the Copa del Rey is going to play. We're going to play the Copa del Rey in 30th April. I think so. I think
Also, it's
30th
even
April.
before the league. So he's literally leaving before the league ends.
Yeah, it has been said he's going to leave before the once the
That's
recent thing.
crazy. That's
So
crazy.
it has been a very good era. Look, that honestly, no disrespect to him, man. He was able to do some incredible stuff for that club, man. Honestly, and the blame alone, yes, you want to put the blame on him, but Perez himself also should take some of those blames because he did not back these guys. We let players go and we not sign players back into the club. Nacho left, Joselu left. We didn't sign players to bring to into the team. So the clubs left. We didn't even think about bringing people into the club. And that is also the fault of the manager because he is very good at using any players at his disposal to get results. Not what this what's his name is saying. This man can he turns Kamavinga to a left back, Chalmani to a centre back. He does things, so that works against him because now Perez says to himself, "No, this man he can't get the job done." But these are the guys that have been named to replace him.
Zidane again,
So
though.
Zidane, Jurgen Klopp, Nagelsmann, Alonso. But for me, I will tell you the two guys I
Ten Hag.
want, the two people I would want Alonso.
Ten Hag
I
is
would
missing.
actually, I don't think it would be a bad idea for Nagelsmann, but I don't think he's going to leave Bayern. And Klopp is somebody by, according to the reports yesterday, he's very, very much in talks for the job. I don't know how true is that, but I would actually love that. I
Yeah,
get Klopp.
yeah. Sorry, but I'm not gonna let you do this, right?
Okay.
You're being dishonest now. Because there's a fifth manager in talks for the job, and you're not telling the truth because you have your own
No, no, no,
biasness.
no, 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 no,
Ten
no, Mark.
Hag has also been
Mark,
interviewed for the Real Madrid job.
Mark, it's
Stop
a
it,
lie. That
Temba.
is rumor. Those are fake
That is
news,
not a
Mark.
rumor, King.
It
And
cannot
see, this
happen,
is your
Mark.
problem.
Bro, Mark, it cannot happen.
Bro,
There's no
listen,
way.
I'm not
It's
saying
not
that it's going to
happening.
happen, but speak the clear facts for the
No, no,
fans.
no, no, no,
He was
man.
interviewed for the job. You don't know if it's a possible. It might be a far-reaching possibility, but if he end up the manager, you'll look bad because you didn't talk
Mark.
about it.
I'm telling you, Ten Hag being linked to United is to Madrid is a fake news. I've looked about all those things, man. There's no way it's happening.
Okay. Okay, bro. Listen
There's
to
no
me,
way.
fella. Listen to me, bro. I's your brethren, right? And I being so real with you. This team, get Ten Hag, I will be scared. Yeah?
You'll
I
be
will be
scared for what?
terrified. Because, bro, listen to me. Your team have a collection of players, bro, that would suit Ten Hag football. And they're
Bro,
technically playing it and they're playing the 3-5, the 3-6, the 3-5-1, the 3-1-6. They're already playing it under Ancelotti. Yeah?
I'm telling you, Mark, if they bring Ten Hag into my club from the very first day, that's when I will tell you Ten Hag out.
Well,
Ten Hag
okay.
out.
You
It's
could
not
you
happening.
could you could say so, but so what if he go on now to win the league, to win the UCL the next season and win the Copa del Rey in the first season now? What you gonna say then?
Mark, let me tell you something. Like ten,
Senior, answer my
the last
question.
time
Don't
there was
say
a news
anything.
on
Answer my
Ten Hag,
question first.
the last time there was news on Ten Hag was being linked to Roma, and he was watching Roma play their last game because Roma coach is Claudio Ranieri. He was brought out of retirement to come and manage that team, and he's doing really well currently. From where he picked them from, they were
Yeah,
17 where
he
he picked
was
them
brought
from.
to watch Borussia
So
Dortmund
he
as well,
was
and he
there.
didn't take
He's
the
being
job.
linked to the club. I saw it. I saw everything about it, and I saw that news for the night as well, and I verified it, and that was a fake news. Is it because I'm not start bragging about me calling Fabrizio Romano and saying I called him and asked for a reliable source? There's no way. There's no way this guy
Bro,
will be my club.
bro,
No
listen,
way.
listen to me. I am happy for you that you feel that way. I just feel sorry for you, bro, because if it does end up being Ten Hag, I will be there. And when
Yeah,
I
you'll be
come,
there.
when I come for you, bro,
You're not going
I
to like
will
what
be
you will
there.
see. You're not
Eh?
going to like what you will see because me every day I'll be cursing that guy. But
Suppose you're winning, playing good football now. I'm just asking,
huh?
prospectively, you had to be able to speak on the side that is not of your opinion as well, Temba.
Or what?
If the man is successful, if he comes in and does a good job, won't you accept him as manager?
Nah.
No?
I'm not even thinking about it right now, man. I'm not thinking about it, man. Because I've told you the two guys I would want in my club.
Oh
The two
God.
guys, it's Nagelsmann, Alonso.
You
That
don't
I
want
know it's
Nagelsmann, bro.
realistic.
You
But
don't want Nagelsmann.
But
Trust what I'm telling you. And you
no,
can't get
no,
Nagelsmann, bro.
no.
I'm telling you now, you
No, that's what
can't
I'm
get
saying. I
Nagelsmann.
can't get Nagelsmann. But I know I can't get
You
Nagelsmann. But
can't get
I'm saying
Nagelsmann. Bro, Nagelsmann at his dream job right now. He is the German
Germany.
national coach until the end of the World Cup 2026.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I understand that. But my other category, candidate I will go for is Klopp. But I don't think Klopp will lead the what's it called, the Red Bull
Red Bull Group?
group. He might leave because Madrid comes, so it will happen.
It might. I
It
mean,
will.
I wouldn't mind. I think Klopp might do well at Madrid, to be honest, you know? I think that heavy metal football would look 10 times better with a Madrid team, in my opinion. He would
And I
certainly
agree.
dominate Spain. I could tell you that. Um, Interesting to see who the manager is. I mean, Xavi Alonso might be a good fit. I think a lot of I think you'll have to move on a few players. I don't know if Mbappe and Vinny might be able to work under the likes of a Xavi Alonso. You know,
I don't know, man. I don't know,
I don't
man.
know. I think you're going to have to sacrifice about two or three players in that squad in
No,
order to get
the person that might leave it's Vinny. But I don't want to
bro.
start talking now because I believe this guy does not play individual football.
I could
So
ask you a question. Do you honestly think Mbappe going to respect Xavi Alonso like he respect Carlo Ancelotti?
why won't he?
Why?
Because
A man who only coaching
I
for three
mean,
seasons, he go and
a man
respect
that
he.
a man that did something incredible. Why won't he respect,
Jesus,
bro?
Jesus. Hey, listen. I
It's
understand
not.
what you're saying, but you're not
There's no
understanding
way.
where I'm coming from.
I get
Mbappe did
your point.
incredible things for 5 years before that man did one incredible thing. Yeah,
No, Mark.
in the
No,
Bundesliga.
he
No,
has
no. You
to.
see,
If
listen,
he
bro.
does
I
not,
respect the
they'll sell
Bundesliga.
him. He will
I
sit on the bench.
respect the Bundesliga, but I just saying, you have a team with some players who are bigger than that manager. You know what I mean?
But we're talking about Real Madrid here. If the fan base of Madrid sense that, bro, we don't play around. Mbappe, put him on the bench, bro. Who has time for those bullshit, man? Like we're talking about, we don't understand what this guy was able to achieve in his career. Several Alonso as a player. Come on,
No,
respect the
well,
man,
you
man.
see, this is why I had to separate it from. He's a coach now. He's not the player. He's a coach.
Mm-hmm.
So forget what he achieved as a player, bro. Forget that.
Yeah,
Cancel that out. He's
but
a
I would not.
coach.
I would not
Now, I
have.
like him as a coach. I think he's a very
Mhm.
good coach. I just saying,
Even
based on
Chelsea
what
are
I
looking
have
at him as
seen,
well.
based
Chelsea are
on
looking
what
at
I
him
have
as well.
seen over in football over the last couple of years, certain players in your team, maybe one or two, and including Mbappe, it might be a difficult transition because Mbappe. Let's not forget Mbappe threw off your team this season. You could say he could have scored 34 goals or whatever he score. It take away from other players and the amount of team goals that they normally have at Madrid. Because
No,
normally,
no, Mark. You know what is this, man? Like, it's not easy to go from a winger to a striker because the fact that Ronaldo made it look easy, Ronaldo made it look easy does not actually means that it's actually easy to be do.
exactly, I agree.
That's the thing. Ronaldo made it look easy to just transition from being a striker, a winger to a striker.
Yeah,
It does not mean
Ronaldo was
that
a
it's not that easily
midfielder king.
done.
Be honest, he was a
From
midfielder. He
midfield
used to
to
play left
winger, from
midfield at
winger to
Man
a
United.
striker. Yeah,
He
he
went
was.
from midfield to winger to striker.
Yeah, you guys were playing 4-4-2, and he was playing from the right hand side of the midfield.
Right midfield, left
It
midfield.
was 4-4-2 from right hand side, then to winger, from winger to a striker. It's like he made it look simple. Not everybody can do it. He made it look simple, and it took him time. And it took Mbappe time. That I can agree with you, man. This season,
Yeah,
and for
I
me,
mean,
I think Vinny. I don't know how they want to do it, but I just want to just say the coach is going to manage it, man, because
yeah, I don't know why man them taking it out on Vinny though, bro. Like I just think that Vinny had to
but
sacrifice a lot this
no,
season.
but Vinny has not been good this season.
Yeah, but these
He
things
has not been
happen too.
good.
But you gotta remember, right? If you look at how the team plays, and this is why I was telling you earlier on this season, especially with not only with Vinny, but also with young man, the one who's dream about he used to play with
Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton. That my boy, Hendrick, I like him too bad. Hendrick is a very, very talented young man as a striker, as a footballer, as
Yeah,
an attacking
yeah,
player. He
yeah.
need time, yeah.
He needs time, but he didn't even get
And
it. He didn't even
but
get enough game
Vinny,
time.
you see, Vinny accustomed to be being the outlet for your team. You bring a man like Mbappe, who now is the focal point. You know, Vinny, as much as he a team player, it will take some adjusting. And Vinny, for like 3 or 4 years, get used to playing a certain way. If you understand what I'm saying, that had to change. No, so
I just,
I expected your front line to have problems. I told you that at the beginning of the season. I tell you, I expect Vinny to underperform. I
I'm
tell you
just
all these things,
expecting. I'm just
right?
expecting this
So,
guy to come in. The manager that
so
come in,
when,
we just get it
so I
sorted
would
out.
say next season you might see a better performance out of the likes of Vinny and these guys because they had a season to work out certain kinks. They're gonna be more familiar with each other next season. You know what I mean? Even if it's under a new manager, it will be a better performance as a collective next season for you.
They
I
should,
wouldn't be too
like, but
stressed.
I think they need to play more as a team
Yeah,
because
but
if
that
they,
is but how you gonna play as a team when a man now come? You
no, that's what I'm
understand?
saying. But what is their mark is that he has come. He has to just accept the fact that he's here. He's here. We have to play as a team
Yeah,
because
but it will
if
take
we keep
time for them
doing
to adapt.
the individual football, if we keep doing it, bro, we will keep seeing what we see this season. Honestly,
No, but you gotta remember, Temba, even if he now come, it will still take time for them to adapt to him because they
yeah,
ain't
I
learning yet.
know, I know, I
So
know.
this season was an adaptation process. This is why I man, you know me, bro. Yeah, a lot of people think I'd already be crashing it on Amarim this season. That I would have be Amarim out. Everybody was looking for that because they know I back Ten Hag. But I know, like I tell everybody before the season, we sack Ten Hag, I say, fellas, this is a bad idea. But if we go on through with this idea, we got to be prepared to settle with this next manager for 3 to 4 seasons. No backing out. Because, bro, we will never, ever get to that point where we want to get to if we keep going through that 18 months foolish ideology. Yeah? Yeah, son. Because you can't tell me a manager come first season, third, top four, third 2 cup finals, win a cup final. United didn't play in a cup final in 6 years or win one in 6 years, right? And the next season, he win a next cup final, yeah, but he finished eighth. He had an injury crisis, and he's a shit manager. We sack him in 6 games of the season. Yeah. The man didn't even get to play his signings because the last signing come in match day 5 or match day 6 at the end of the window. Yeah. The bulk of signings come in after match week 4. You dig? But we sack him. He had his signing. This is a mad way to operate, bro. This is not professional. This is not
Blame
about
it
stuff.
on
Of
Glazers
course.
and
I
Inos.
know, no,
Blaming
I blame
them.
this on Ineos. I will not blame the Glazers for this because they're not so stupid.
Before I round up, Vegeta, who do you see managing Madrid next season?
Based on the news, it seems that Klopp. Honestly,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
pray for
I
it.
wouldn't mind.
Let it
I think
happen.
that would be good for
Yeah,
Madrid, to be honest.
but guys, man, it's been 2 hours, man. 2 hours. I don't think I've ever done a show with Vegeta for 2 hours, bro. We had a lot
No,
to talk
we
about.
have, we have,
Yeah,
we talked.
I just wake up, bro, and I see Ole was live, bro. And I had
Yeah,
to go and get ready to go to work there now. And I would just
yeah.
say,
Big up to you, man. Big up to you, man.
let me
So,
jump
guys,
in.
please make sure you are subscribing to Mark N's channel and to the football fans and have time with Vegeta, man. You guys do the right thing, man. But Vegeta, do you have anything to say?
Um, let's not do yesterday again, please. My heart can't take it.
Thanks, the fellas. Big up for yesterday. I didn't know when I called you guys, you guys was gonna end up hosting a legendary game like that.
Bro,
And I say legendary because it's been 57 years since United went 2-0 up and lost at home. Yeah?
yo,
That's
And
true. Yeah,
easy.
at a moment, it was looking like we were going to.
57 years. 57
57
full.
years, King. Yeah?
hmm
Bro, take down that start, man. But guys, that's a wrap of the show, man. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching, people.
Big up.
It's caught in the crossfire.